Good evening. My name is Jesse T. Crocker III, and this evening we're going to talk about international and United States trade law. The United States should provide subsidies to its farmers because it wants to remain a world leader in agriculture. The government must help its own farmers, even if it includes paying them subsidies. American industry is all about productivity growth. From the fields to our grocery shelves to our cupboards. It used to be local farmers owned by mom, dad, and granddad, and on down through the generations that could plant the crops and take them to the local grocery stores. Now grocery stores are owned by big conglomerates that import our food products from other countries. Why is this? It is because of the free trade agreements between the U.S. and the countries that the grocery conglomerates feel they're where they can get a cheaper product. One country may get a cheaper product, but with import duties, which is a tariff, the cheaper product may cost the same as if the product was made in the importing country. As example shows, a country A can produce the product for $12, and country B can produce the product for $10. With the import duties or tariff of say 20% on the $10, the amount it can be made in country A would be the same. That's where our American farmers are getting the raw end of the deal, as well as the American consumers. We're getting a lower grade of produce from developed countries that do not have the same environmental laws as we do. We as American consumers do not know what we're getting. For example, AAA, Agriculture Adjustment Act, is where our government destroyed crops, livestock, and paid our farmers not to grow crops so that food at the grocery store would go up, supposedly to help the farmers make more money for producing less. I don't get that. I don't get that thinking strategy at all. It makes sense to the government, but not to the farmers and to the consumers who have to buy produce from another country that is far less quality than our own American grown crops. Here in this slide it shows how would the AAA help farmers? Less food would mean that food prices would go up, allowing farmers to make more dollars. Why would many Americans be upset at such a government agency? Well, for one thing, I just answered it. Because we're getting a lower grade product and it's putting a lot of the American farmers out of business, and farmers that have been around for generations, for hundreds of years. Okay, in these slides it shows because of the big grocery store conglomerates, American farmers were forced to sell their farms to big grocery conglomerates. Organizations like Monsanto has put GMOs in our food chain as well as our beef, chicken, and pork. Where is it all going to end? Oh man, that's just going from bad to worse, but there's slowly people getting on board with the anti-GMOs. When Americans say enough is enough and start holding our politicians accountable for letting organizations like Monsanto stop polluting our food chain and bring back our farmers so we can get good edible food that doesn't cause cancer, there are numbers of local grocery store chains that will not put Monsanto's polluted food on their shelves and are buying direct from organic producers. There are more and more shelves at the grocery store that contain organically grown food products. Here's a slide that shows the difference between Monsanto's food products and organically grown products. What would you rather eat? The left food pod grown and produced by Monsanto, or the one on the right that was organically grown? The choice is yours, but buyer beware. There's on the left picture of the pod. It shows food products that were contaminated by nuclear weapons, DDT, which is a bug killer, Agent Orange, which is agriculture and it kills trees, plants, anything and everything it touches. And during the Vietnam War, they used that quite a bit over Vietnam, and a lot of our soldiers came back affected by Agent Orange. You also got PCBs. You got bovine growth hormones in our cattle, artificial sweeteners, and superfungicides that contaminate our fish products, and of course our agriculture products. And on the right, organically grown doesn't have all that, past, present, and future. And here are some images from Monsanto and what it does to our food. And this is images from a survivalist prepper, and it serves the purpose of getting the point across of what could happen when there are GMOs added to our food chain. And here's another one from the survivalist prepper. And keep GMOs out of your home. And just some really activists that are dead set against GMOs in our food products, which I can see their point. And these are just some more pictures of what they've come up with on what could possibly happen when you're affected by GMOs in your food. Here's a pyramid of GMO contaminated food. It starts with corn syrup, candy, aspartame, food beets, and all the additives that go in that. Factory farm modified salmon that have contaminated food in their, or GMO product in their digestive and their bloodstream that affects their growth and also affects the people that eat them. You got steroid milk from cows. You got estrogen chickens that are pumped full of estrogen. You got fruits and veggies fresh from a lab. And you can see here in these pictures here what could happen when these GMOs are added to the food chain. And then Roundup Ready BT cancer crops. They use Roundup to curtail weeds and grasses and stuff like that that grow in the agriculture fields. So they feel that they have to put this Roundup in there to keep the weeds out. And that concludes